Shaq has been taking shots at LeBron on TNT, on podcasts, on social media, and none of it has been subtle.
No, I just want to help Shaq up.
You trying to help Shaq up? Man, you ain't that strong. You ain't that strong.
And when the conversation turned to LeBron's physique, Shaq didn't hold back.
I know that, man. One of them motherfucking Bron, ain't you?
I just started taking that credit and what?
However, when footage of Bronny James started circulating online and Shaq's name ended up at the center of it, people stopped laughing because it looked like Shaq had crossed the one line LeBron told the world he would never tolerate. This is what actually happened between Shaq, LeBron, and Bronny. The Shaq-LeBron timeline. Shaq and LeBron were teammates once. In 2009, the Cleveland Cavaliers traded for Shaq to help LeBron win a title. Shaq was 37, LeBron was 25. They went 61-21 in the regular season. LeBron won MVP. They lost to the Boston Celtics in the second round of the playoffs, 4-2. The pairing lasted 1 year. Shaq retired 2 seasons later. LeBron left Cleveland for Miami. That one season planted something. Shaq later admitted he felt professional jealousy toward LeBron during their time together. LeBron brought family on team flights. He controlled the organization from top to bottom. Shaq said he never had those privileges, not with the Magic, not with the Lakers, not with Miami, not anywhere. He called it jealousy, not personal, but professional. He also said LeBron was the only superstar he didn't try to push or test. With Kobe, he prodded. With Dwyane Wade, he motivated through confrontation. But with LeBron, Shaq held back. He respected LeBron's maturity. He said LeBron already had everything under control at 25 years old, but the envy stayed. It sat quietly beneath every compliment and every critique that followed. After retiring, Shaq became an analyst on TNT's Inside the NBA. The dynamic shifted from teammate to commentator. Shaq praised LeBron at times and questioned him at others. He called LeBron a great player, but placed Michael Jordan above him in GOAT conversations.
When LeBron passes up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in points, and he will this year, will that make him the greatest player?
That question, posed directly to Shaq, got a response with no hesitation.
An interesting question. I think the greatest player is Michael Jordan.
Shaq said it. He didn't qualify it. He didn't dress it up. Jordan. That was his answer. And he stayed on that line through interviews, podcasts, and panel discussions for years. LeBron responded in 2024 when Shaq questioned whether LeBron inspired fear on the court. LeBron posted his 1,210-game double-digit scoring streak, longer than Shaq's entire 207-game career, with the caption, "Why is this so funny to me?" The exchange went viral. It was a shot back without naming Shaq directly. Then came February 1st, 2026. After a Lakers loss to the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, reports surfaced of a tunnel confrontation between Shaq and LeBron. The issue, LeBron had made comments suggesting NBA seasons in the 1980s and 1990s were less grueling than today's. Shaq, a product of that era, took it as disrespect. Insiders described a face-to-face exchange, not physical, but heated. Footage of the encounter circulated, and once it did, the narrative around Shaq and LeBron shifted from friendly rivalry to something more personal. Weeks later, Shaq snubbed LeBron from his all-time starting five. He picked Jordan, Kobe, and himself. He left LeBron off entirely. He named LeBron the 2024-25 Shaqton a Fool MVP. He said LeBron no longer belongs in the GOAT conversation due to playoff exits and flopping. He said he didn't want to see LeBron come off the bench in the 2026 All-Star game, framing it as protecting LeBron's dignity. Each comment landed, each one spread across social media, and each one built on the last. That is the Shaq-LeBron tension, not a single event, a series of them, stacked over 15 years, each one adding a layer. And when a clickbait title claimed Shaq leaked footage of Bronny, people didn't question it because the groundwork had already been laid. The GOAT debate and what it reveals. The GOAT conversation is where the Shaq-LeBron friction takes on its sharpest edge, because it is more than an abstract argument about basketball legacies. It is deeply entangled with personal pride, generational loyalty, and Shaq's own unresolved feelings about where he fits in history. When Shaq says Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, he is not merely participating in a debate. He is reinforcing a worldview shaped by his lived experience. Shaq grew up watching Jordan. He played against Jordan, and he has spoken with striking candor about what that felt like on the court.
He's the only man that had me terrified on the court. Because I went from high school admiring him.
That word, terrified, carries weight coming from a man who stood 7'1" and weighed over 300 pounds during his playing days. Shaq was not easily rattled. He dominated the paint with a ferocity that bent entire defensive schemes. And yet, when it came to Michael Jordan, he conceded something primal, fear.
Admiring him in college, admiring him, and then he's right there in front of you. And all the shit you see on your poster like he's doing it in real life.
The imagery Shaq conjures is vivid and telling. He went from having Jordan on his bedroom wall to standing across from him in an arena. The poster became flesh and blood, and the intimidation factor didn't diminish, it intensified. Shaq has described moments where Jordan blew past him so quickly, his instinctive reaction was nothing more than a startled expletive.
Mike, yeah, I was terrified. But once I regained my nerves, I had to get into karate mode.
Karate mode. Shaq framed his competitive response like a martial arts movie, the student who must eventually overcome the master. It is a revealing metaphor because it positions Jordan as someone who had to be conquered, not merely outplayed.
Because in all the karate movies, the teacher must someday beat the master to become the master.
And Shaq believes he did overcome Jordan, at least in direct playoff matchups. He has repeatedly referenced the fact that he was the last player to eliminate Jordan from the postseason, a claim he wields with unmistakable pride.
And I won a lot of bets when I asked people who's the last guy to beat Michael Jordan in the playoff situation.
That a boy.
Yes, so.
That a boy.
So when Shaq places Jordan above LeBron, he is simultaneously placing himself within the orbit of the greatest. If Jordan is the GOAT and Shaq was the one who dethroned him in the playoffs, then Shaq occupies an elite rung on that same ladder. Elevating LeBron above Jordan would, in some sense, diminish Shaq's own proximity to the top. There is also the matter of the scoring record. When LeBron passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer, Shaq watched it happen and admitted what it stirred inside him.
I might get flamed for this, but dude, I'm from Cleveland, so I gotta go with LeBron.
See, that's what I was gonna ask.
Even in a moment of friendly disagreement, a guest choosing LeBron, Shaq could not let the conversation pass without anchoring it back to his own story.
I agree.
LeBron is about to do something that hasn't been done in a long time, and I think he will move his name up there.
He acknowledged the significance of the achievement. He recognized the history, but then he circled right back to what mattered most to him, his own regret. Shaq once sat 1,500 points behind Wilt Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list. He wanted that record. He wanted to climb past Wilt and claim the title of most dominant big man ever, without anyone else's name in the conversation. He wanted to stand alone in that category, not alongside Wilt, not alongside Bill Russell, but by himself. He didn't get it. Injuries, a shifting role in his later years, and the inevitable erosion of age conspired to keep him just out of reach. And when LeBron surpassed Kareem to become the league's all-time leading scorer, that wound reopened in a way Shaq could not disguise. That emotional undercurrent runs beneath every GOAT debate Shaq enters. It is why his comments about LeBron often carry an edge that goes beyond analytical disagreement. It is personal, not because Shaq dislikes LeBron, but because LeBron's continued ascent reminds Shaq of the records and milestones that slipped from his own grasp. And when Shaq eventually turned that energy toward LeBron's son, even indirectly through jokes and jabs at LeBron, the public read it as escalation. The GOAT debate became the foundation on which every subsequent Shaq-LeBron moment was interpreted, including fabricated stories about leaked footage, Bronny, the draft, and the nepotism firestorm. If the GOAT debate built the tension between Shaq and LeBron, then Bronny James's entry into the NBA poured gasoline on it. Not because of anything Shaq did, but because of the avalanche of controversy that followed LeBron's son from the draft night podium to the G League hardwood. Bronny was selected 55th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2024 NBA draft. The pick made history, the first active father-son duo in NBA history. LeBron had spoken publicly and repeatedly about his desire to play alongside his son, telling outlets that wherever Bronny was drafted, that's where LeBron would go. He once said Bronny could play on the Lakers right now, and that he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. Those statements drew scrutiny. Bronny's college numbers at USC did not support the hype. He averaged 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game on 36.6% shooting from the field and 26.7% from three. Critics called it the worst case of nepotism in NBA history. Analysts like Kendrick Perkins argued on ESPN's First Take that opportunities must be earned, not given, and that scouts he spoke with said Bronny was not ready for the league. Others pointed out that nepotism runs throughout the NBA, in front offices, coaching staffs, and ownership groups, and that the fury over the 55th pick in the draft was wildly disproportionate. Former Laker Matt Barnes went further, calling for more black nepotism, arguing that if white executives can install family members throughout organizations without public outcry, then LeBron James, a black icon with generational wealth, should be able to leverage his position for his son without apology. ESPN's Jay Williams echoed this, calling it a flex that reflected LeBron's extraordinary longevity and influence. Rapper Cameron weighed in with a take that cut straight through the noise.
What Pops did for you, what he did, so is mad because that
father is LeBron James. So what?
Cameron's argument was blunt and rooted in generational wealth logic. If the Walmart heirs inherit Walmart, why shouldn't LeBron's son inherit access to the NBA?
The Walmart kids is getting the Walmart money. The McDonald's kids is not the McDonald's. The took it from McDonald's. His kids is getting it.
The comparison, while unpolished, resonated widely because it reframed nepotism as something systemic and ubiquitous rather than specific to the James family. Every dynasty in American history, corporate, political, entertainment, operates on the same principle. Cameron then expanded his point to other dynasties, the Hiltons, the Trumps, the Krocs, driving home the universality of inherited privilege and the hypocrisy of singling out a black athlete for doing what wealthy families across every industry have done for centuries. He also raised a question that cut even deeper into the emotional core of the argument.
Magic Johnson, you think he ain't want to play with his son? You think Magic ain't want to play with him? What? You think he ain't want to play with his son?
The implication, other legendary players would have done the same thing if they could have. LeBron was not exploiting the system. He was the first player in history with both the longevity and the circumstances to make it happen.
What? I'm just saying. Michael Jordan ain't want to play with his son?
Yeah, that's better.
No, you're turning it into something.
That exchange revealed the tension within the debate itself, the desire to criticize LeBron's influence while simultaneously acknowledging that any father in his position would want the same thing. Meanwhile, LeBron was making his stance unmistakably clear to anyone who might use his son as content. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith found that out firsthand after he went on First Take and urged LeBron to stop exposing Bronny to the pressure of the NBA spotlight. What happened next made headlines.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son.
Stephen A. described the encounter as a courtside confrontation that caught him off guard. LeBron's words, according to Stephen A., were unsuitable for broadcast.
Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me.
And then Stephen A. drew a line that reframed the entire incident.
That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard.
Even Stephen A., one of the loudest voices in sports media, understood the line LeBron was drawing. This was not about basketball commentary. This was about a father defending his child. Stephen A. went on to explain that his original comments were directed at LeBron's decision-making, not at Bronny's character or ability. He emphasized that he had nothing but the best wishes for Bronny and hoped he would become the rare exception, the child of an all-time great who carves out a legitimate career of his own. But the damage was done. The courtside moment circulated everywhere, and it sent a message that reverberated across every sports desk and podcast studio in the country. Criticize Bronny James at your own risk because his father will find you. And that context, a father willing to confront the biggest mouth in sports media on live television, set the stage for how every subsequent Bronny story would be received. The weight Bronny carries. Beneath the sensational headlines about leaked footage and locker room tension lies a story that is far more sobering and profoundly human. The story of a young man navigating the most demanding professional sports league on the planet while carrying a last name that guarantees every misstep will be amplified and every success will be questioned. Bronny James did not arrive in the NBA under ordinary circumstances. In July 2023, during a practice at USC, he suffered a cardiac arrest. He was 18 years old. He collapsed on the court. Medical professionals intervened immediately. The incident sent shockwaves through the basketball community and raised terrifying questions about his future, not just in basketball, but in life.
He's 18 years old. He's playing college basketball. He's got to be in fantastic shape.
That was a doctor's opening assessment. A young man who, by every visible measure, appeared to be the picture of athletic health. And yet something catastrophic happened beneath the surface.
How could something like this happen?
Really, what it indicates typically is that there is some underlying cardiac disease that was not picked up in most instances.
The doctor explained that the likely culprits are structural abnormalities or inherited electrical problems within the heart, conditions that can go undetected through standard screenings and reveal themselves only during moments of extreme physical exertion.
Whether that's a structural heart disease, that they were born with something wrong with the heart muscles, or the arteries that supply blood to the heart, or an electrical problem that may be inherited genetically.
This is not a minor detail in Bronny's story. It is the foundation of everything that followed. His freshman season at USC was truncated. His conditioning was compromised. His confidence, already under enormous scrutiny because of his father's legacy, took a hit that no amount of media debate can adequately capture.
Typically, it is an arrhythmia, an abnormal heart rhythm. Ventricular tachycardia or fibrillation are the two most common that would cause someone to have this event.
The medical reality is stark. Ventricular tachycardia and fibrillation are life-threatening arrhythmias. For an 18-year-old to experience one during a practice session means every subsequent physical effort, every sprint, every dunk attempt, every conditioning drill carries an invisible weight that his peers simply do not bear. The doctor also noted that this type of cardiac event is most commonly observed in males, in African-American males, and specifically in basketball players, a statistical overlap that makes Bronny's case not just alarming, but medically significant within the broader landscape of sports health. Organizations like the NCAA and the American Heart Association have recommended pre-participation screenings designed to catch these conditions early. But as the doctor acknowledged, not all cases are detected, and the question of whether existing protocols failed, Bronny remains unanswered and deeply unsettling. And then there were the numbers once he did return. In 56 NBA games through February 2026, Bronny has averaged 2.2 points, 0.6 rebounds, and 1.0 assists per game in roughly 7 minutes of action. His field goal percentage sits at 35.4%. In the G League, where he has had more room to develop, his averages climbed to approximately 12 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. Respectable numbers for a developmental player, but not the kind of statistics that silence critics who believe he doesn't belong. His contract, 4 years, $7.9 million fully guaranteed, was unusual for a late second-round pick and added another log to the nepotism fire. Analysts say he was drafted prematurely. Scouts say he wasn't NBA ready. His shooting remains inconsistent. His ball handling is still developing. At 6'2" and 210 pounds, he lacks the size to overpower opponents at the guard position and does not yet possess the elite explosiveness that would compensate for it. He is, by most objective measures, a raw prospect, the kind of player who, had his last name been anything other than James, would be quietly developing in the G League without a single camera pointed in his direction. But his last name is James, and that changes everything. The comparisons to LeBron are constant and relentless. When Bronny mimics his father's pre-game routines, viral videos mock it. When he struggles to score, the internet frames it as proof of nepotism. When he succeeds, the response is that any player would look decent in garbage time. There is no equilibrium for Bronny, only extremes that swing violently depending on who is controlling the narrative that day. LeBron himself has acknowledged the burden, calling playing with Bronny his biggest accomplishment, a statement that simultaneously elevates and constricts his son. If LeBron's greatest achievement is playing alongside Bronny, then Bronny's every on-court moment becomes a referendum on whether that achievement was deserved. Resurfaced interviews with Savannah James revealed that Bronny once aspired to be a professional snowboarder, not a basketball player. That detail sparked its own round of debate. Did LeBron steer his son toward basketball? Was this always Bronny's dream, or was it crafted for him by a father who wanted a teammate more than he wanted his child to be happy? Those questions have no clean answers, but they add another dimension to the pressure Bronny navigates daily. The suspicion that the life he is living might not be the life he originally chose for himself. And it is within this swirling environment of health scares, modest statistics, nepotism allegations, viral mockery, and existential questions about autonomy that a headline like "Shaq just leaked horrible Bronny James's footage to get back at LeBron" finds its audience. The ground was already saturated. All the headline had to do was land. What Shaq actually said and why the truth matters. Here is where the story turns, because the narrative that Shaq leaked damaging footage of Bronny James to get revenge on LeBron collapses entirely when measured against what Shaq has actually said about Bronny, publicly, repeatedly, and with unmistakable sincerity. Every headline, every clickbait thumbnail, every sensationalized tweet that positions Shaq as an antagonist in Bronny's story has to reckon with the actual words that came out of Shaq's mouth. Shaq has not attacked Bronny. He has defended him, aggressively, emotionally, and with the kind of vulnerability that a man who built his entire brand on dominance and intimidation rarely displays on camera. When asked directly who he would most like to see get a break from public scrutiny, choosing among Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and Bronny James, Shaq's answer was immediate and unambiguous.
I would like the scrutiny to get off Bronny James.
That's who you would like to get a break from the scrutiny.
No hesitation, no qualification. Bronny, that was his pick, and the reasoning that followed was not analytical. It was personal, almost paternal.
Yeah, my nephew, he's a kid, great kid, All he wants to do is play.
Shaq called Bronny his nephew, not a colleague's son, not a prospect, his nephew, and he identified the core of the problem with painful clarity. Bronny just wants to play basketball, but the world won't let him do it in peace.
It's unfortunate for kids like ours, they have to live up to what we have done.
That sentence, kids like ours, placed Shaq's own children directly beside Bronny. Shaq's sons, Sharif and Shakir, have both pursued basketball careers. Sharif dealt with a heart condition of his own. Shaq understands the intersection of legacy, expectation, and health scares in a way that few people in the world can.
You don't have to be like me. I want you to be better than me. I'm not talking about as a player, as a person.
That line is not the language of a man plotting revenge against a colleague through leaked footage. It is the language of a father reflecting on what he tells his own children and extending that same grace to LeBron's son. Shaq went further. He addressed the media directly, specifically calling out commentator Bill Simmons for suggesting a team should draft Bronny and weaponize him as trade bait.
I'm sitting watching all the stuff and, like Bill Simmons saying, let's draft him. And use them as like all that's unnecessary.
Shaq found that suggestion repulsive. He called it unnecessary. He emphasized Bronny's age, 18, 19 years old, and what it means to have grown men in media treating a teenager as a strategic pawn.
I hope he gets drafted. I hope he makes it. And I hope he can do it on his own.
And when Shaq and Chuck reacted to LeBron and Bronny's first official NBA game together, the historic Lakers-Timberwolves matchup in October 2024, the tone was celebratory, grounded, and forward-looking.
Great moment, great accomplishment. Would have loved to see him play more. Now this is over. I think he focuses on getting better.
Shaq celebrated the milestone and then pivoted to what matters, development. He set expectations with a realism that reflected his own experience as a former #1 pick.
He's not going to be in the starting lineup, probably won't be in that second lineup, but if I'm him, I'm working somehow to get some type of rotation so I can get some type of flow.
And then, with a gentleness that defied every clickbait headline ever written about him, Shaq spoke about Bronny the way you speak about family.
But know the kid a long time. He works hard, he's willing to learn, so I wish him well, but great accomplishment for the James family.
There was also the more irreverent side of Shaq's commentary, the kind that gets clipped, decontextualized, and turned into ammunition. In a viral moment on social media, Shaq appeared to joke about LeBron's physicality in a way that hinted at performance-enhancing drugs.
No, I just want to help Shaq up.
You trying to help Shaq up? Man, you ain't that strong, Charlie. You ain't that strong.
The exchange was playful. Someone offered to help Shaq up, and the implication was that they weren't strong enough, not unless they had LeBron's build.
Damn, man. On that motherfucking Bron, ain't you?
I just started taking that credits and what?
You always say you can't have money.
It was a joke, crude, unfiltered, and exactly the kind of remark Shaq has built an entire media persona around. But in the context of a narrative that already positioned Shaq as an adversary to LeBron, clips like these get repurposed as evidence of a vendetta that, when examined closely, does not exist. The truth is simpler and less dramatic than the headline suggests. Shaq and LeBron have friction. That friction is real. It is rooted in generational pride, professional jealousy, and competing visions of basketball greatness. But when it comes to Bronny James, Shaq has been one of his most vocal and consistent defenders. A man who sees his own children's struggles reflected in Bronny's journey, and who has repeatedly used his platform to shield a young man from the exact kind of toxicity that a leaked footage story represents. No footage was leaked, no revenge was taken. What happened was far more ordinary and far more insidious. A media ecosystem that profits from conflict took real events, real tension, and a real young man's career and compressed them into a title designed to make you click. The tunnel confrontation became proof of a war. The GOAT debates became evidence of hatred. The PED jokes became signs of sabotage. And Bronny, a kid recovering from cardiac arrest, trying to earn rotation minutes on a basketball team, became a prop in a story that had nothing to do with him and everything to do with the appetites of an audience trained to consume drama. Shaq has been many things in this story. He has been a critic of LeBron's legacy. He has been a jealous former teammate. He has been a provocateur who thrives on the attention his comments generate. But when it comes to Bronny James, he has been one thing above all else, protective. And until credible evidence says otherwise, the leaked footage story belongs exactly where it started, in the imagination of whoever wrote the headline. And now you know the full story. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.